Started from nothing, we did it, we made it, we turned into something. I said what I be, but they ain't believe, they thought we was bluffing.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Thoughtful Podcast, where we sit and talk about the raw, real, and uncomfortable conversations that most people will not talk about. It's your girl Cora here with the hubby Dustin,
Hello, hello.
and this is episode 1,
Yes.
and the topic will be birthing trauma.
And you said in the before all this that it sounded too choppy and too professional, and then episode 1 is going to, but I digress.
Anyways, it's a start.
It's a start.
It's a start.
So yes,
So a little bit
birthing-
about our podcast. We're gonna
I
have
don't know why you have it on.
multiple themes. We're gonna have funny topics. We're gonna have sad topics. We're gonna have deep topics. So
We're gonna have some
Two.
sexy topics.
Y-
Wow.
so tune in. Stay with us. If you have something you want to talk about, drop it in the comments. All right, episode 1, birthing trauma.
Yes.
So would you like to start?
I mean, from a man's perspective here, when we discussed this as an initial topic, I wasn't sure exactly how I could have feedback into this, just because I didn't really go through as much as you did.
Yeah. Birthing trauma, though, affects people differently. For me, I had 3 C-sections, and that alone caused trauma. Because I think after the first one, I was like, I don't want to do another C-section.
Yeah, it's called postpartum.
Anyways, but I was like, after the first one, I don't want to do another C-section because that was horrible. But
And then you had 2 more.
yeah, no.
Sorry,
Mhm.
we made big babies.
But birthing trauma is something serious. It's serious because I can't say this in the Black community.
She's a Black woman, by the way.
I am a Black woman, yes.
I am a white male.
But in the Black community, there is not a lot of people that are comfortable with talking about the trauma that they have during birth. It's why
Well-
you see a lot of young Black women, like my age category, only have 1. And they're like, I'm not doing this again. Like, I can't do this shit again.
Well, first off, watch your language. We got on YouTube. Secondly, would you say that more Black women don't approach the subject or discuss the subject because of their treatment in the hospitals due to their skin color or due to their ethnicity?
I will say, being a Black woman and having my birth trauma, it's a combination of both. Because in the hospital, and you were a witness of it, with our twins and our youngest, where they kept trying to stop my labor, and
Yeah.
I was in tears, like on the phone with you and my mom crying. I'm like, I'm hurting. My body can't do this, and I was at my moment. I was tapping out. So I believe in the hospitals and with the doctors, yes, because they don't believe us. You got to think about it though. Everything that's taught in the medical books are all based off of not Black women, not brown women. I'm trying to.
Not the chocolate. They ain't talking about the
It's
chocolate.
based off of the other race.
Let's just be honest. The medical practices were set up around white people because those were the only ones that were allowed to. I understand, but they were the only ones allowed to read, write, set up this, set up that, do that.
So
and the
yeah,
other,
but
and-
everything was based off of them
correct.
and the way they give birth. But the thing is, though, no one's talking about, hey, a Black woman's body might not have the same pain tolerance as a white woman, or hey,
I
the
don't think that
body-
has anything to do with ethnicity so much as just your general aspect of pain tolerance. But
no, it's
I think it boils down to more, and I apologize for cutting you off, but I feel like it boils more down towards your treatment in the hospital, the
it
way that
also
you're
deals with
viewed
your
in the
ethnicity,
hospital.
though, because back then they used to say that Black women have a higher pain tolerance than white women, which is not true. Like you said, it could be based off the person. My pain tolerance might be
Nah, y'all
higher
just better
than
than the
my
sun.
sisters, and then my sisters might be like lower than our neighbor or
Right.
something, because
I mean,
our neighbor's white.
Look at
So-
your younger sister. Can't do anything with pain. Barely doesn't want to get a
Yeah.
tattoo.
But yet, look
and
at
then
me.
you've
you know
got
what
your
I mean?
older sister who's afraid of bugs.
but
you
she can
know,
do tattoos.
but can
You
do
know,
tattoos. So it's just
it's like our pain tolerance is different, but I feel like not a lot of newer doctors, well, older doctors that are in their higher up, however it goes, they're sitting there, they're like, hey, we're not gonna move. Y'all need to stick to this book. But now you have a lot of our generation doctors that are coming in there. And I love it. I love it. All the black young men and women and
like your doctor
Latinos
during the twins
and
pregnancy where he
yes,
comes in, puts his foot down and says, "Get them
love it.
babies out."
I love it. I love it because now you see a lot more um diversity in the medical field. You know, I'm not gonna just say with black people. I'm not just gonna say with Hispanics or I'm just gonna say with everyone. Because now you have a lot more doctors that are like, this woman needs need to be met first before y'all worry about insurance or y'all worry about this. I mean, like for example, and I hate to bring this topic up, but that beautiful young black woman that just passed away. I forgot her name, and I'm sorry. I will drop her name in the comments. But she was in a coma because and her baby was like 9 weeks old, and the hospital kept her alive because of the
Oh, and
abortion
then they
law.
cut the baby out and
And now the
put
baby's
him
fighting,
in
and
the
I'm
NICU.
praying that that baby makes it out of the NICU because I can
What
tell you right
what
now,
even happened with that? How'd she end up in the coma?
I don't
Did she have
know.
like a car accident or something? I remember there being
I
a detail that led to the coma.
I don't know per se. I got to do more research on that. But that beautiful woman lost her life,
We're having an
and
early version of the Handmaid's Tale.
that
That
beautiful
was that
woman
show,
lost
right?
her life, and yeah, Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
But she lost her life, and now her baby's fighting for his life in the NICU.
Because
And I
wasn't the baby
pray
only like 6 or 9 weeks old?
9 weeks, and
Yeah,
they delivered the baby
that
at
was
like
way too early.
14, 14. I don't know.
I
I got to get my information
I
next,
feel like at
right?
that age you're practically raising that baby in a petri dish. Like,
Basically, in a way.
yeah,
Luckily, we do have medical
we have
stuff
the technology.
to yeah, like we have it to help the baby survive, but it's still like the doctors could have did something to save her life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure her and her, I don't know if she was married, but partner, or fiance, whoever was like, if something happens, I'd rather you over this baby. And that's what a lot of couples have. I mean, me and you had
Yep.
that conversation.
Mm.
I told you when we went in for our oldest, and I was trying to naturally have him. And I said, if anything was to happen, choose me over him. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for this, but I'd rather be here with you and we can try again than be gone. And you know what I mean?
I will say though, initially you did not feel that way. There was a
Yeah.
variation of discussions that led to the decision of you
I think
saying, "Hey, I'm okay if you choose me," because in that moment
yeah,
you realize that pressure is on me.
yeah.
You didn't want to be selfish in your aspect of what you wanted. You didn't want to be selfish in like shoving all that pressure onto me. So
I mean,
you
because
let
you got to
me.
think about it though. Society
That's
always
a
put it
huge
on
decision.
it is. Society always puts it on a woman to be like, hey, you're meant to stay at home and make babies and do this and like clean the house and and it's like
Which
that's
is
not
pretty
the
much what you've
American
done since 2019, but that's not the point.
anyways.
Anyway,
But it's like that's not the American dream anymore. The American dream is, hey,
travel.
live, grow,
We want to go to
be
Japan.
happy. And it's just hard because like when you look at the people that are wanting to have kids nowadays, the trauma is so high. Like I scroll on TikTok sometimes and it's like the trauma that these women are having from their doctors or from CPS coming into the rooms and taking
Yeah, I remember those
1 hour
stories.
old babies. It's scary because like look at the society that we're in.
Glad we had our kids when we did.
Yes, but I do pray for every woman that is pregnant now,
Correct.
whether whatever race you are. I do pray that every baby that you have or that you want to have, if this is your first, if
Goes
this is
home with
your
you
last,
happy and healthy.
yes, I pray that there's nothing wrong.
Back to the initial subject at hand, though, and birthing trauma. I understand that there's a slew of things that we could spend hours talking about. But for our first episode, I didn't feel like we want to go too far into this. And if we want to do a birthing trauma part 2, we can definitely do that. But you asked me from my perspective how I felt about certain things. I don't believe that I really experienced any actual birthing trauma until the third pregnancy, the last one.
Yeah,
And
and I
that's
think
only
that's
watching you have your medical issues on the table where I almost lost you and I almost lost him,
mhm,
that it woke me up and I was like, I almost was a single dad. Like I was almost a
yeah,
widower, widowed,
widowed,
whatever, tomato,
widow.
widower. But I was almost left alone with 3 other boys, and I would have lost you and him at the same time, and then, that's where it really kicked in for me, and so,
I do
leading up
believe.
to it, I've been carrying my birthing trauma with me and making sure that when I'm home, you get waited on hand and foot, you get all your meals cooked, you get the cleaning done that you need done, you get
Oh,
the
yeah.
the
Yeah,
kids, like
you can definitely tell that that 3rd one woke us up in a way that it was pretty scary. It was a scary wake up. It was one of those, "Hey," I was literally knocking on death's door, and he was about to open it and be like, "Yo, welcome to the party. Table for 1," and I was gonna be like, "Yeah, what's up,
"Yo, MTV,
G?"
this is my
Right? Like,
crib."
"MTV, what's up? This is where we at." Like, "God, I see you, my boy." Like, that's where I was at. I mean, for the people that don't know, that's listening to the podcast, a little bit of backstory, we do have 4 beautiful boys. We have our oldest one, we have twins, and then we have my youngest one. My youngest one is the one that gave me and the hubby the most birthing trauma as a couple. I had birthing trauma from my first one due to C-section, but the last one was scary. During the birth, they tried to stop it for 2 days. They tried
Numerous
to
reasons, and
Yeah, but no, I was in the hospital for 2 days
yeah, but
before they tried to stop it.
mainly because you were as premature as you were.
Yeah. And luckily, little man's okay. He does have a little bit of medical complications. Not gonna get all into that, but my side of things, having him that early was scary because 1, he's a preemie. Everybody knows preemies are so prone to infections and stuff like that. But besides that, I think the scariest part was when I was on the table, like he said, and he almost lost me. I was 80 milliliters away from knocking on the door and be
Yo,
like, "Yo," like he
they ushered
physically
me out
saw
of the room.
me go pale.
Yep, they ushered me out of the room and was like, "Dad, go with your son." And as I'm laying there, as like I'm walking out, I'm watching her, and she's like, "Go ahead and go." And I'm like, I was afraid that if I walked out the door, that'll be the last time I got to talk to her. And
Yeah.
then I got back there into the NICU, and they deemed that they were like, I think I was in there for like 5 minutes,
Mhm.
and they looked at me and they're like, "Dad, you can't be in here either. You need to go back to the room." And I was like, "So why can't I be with either one of them?"
Yeah.
You want to talk about trauma? I was in that room by myself for almost an hour. There was no responses from the doctor, no responses from the nurses, nothing. I swear up and down that there is a divot in that floor from the path that I walked in that room
I
over and over and
mean,
over again, waiting on you. And then your butt comes rolling into the hospital bed, laughing and joking with the doctor like you didn't just go through labor. And I'm sitting there
I
stressed out.
look, I'm a pro at this, my guy. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding. No.
I think for you, everything was okay. Like nothing really hit you with the last one until they wheeled him up on the
No.
cart to go load him into the helicopter to take him downtown.
No. It hit me when it hit me before that. I was just being strong. I was like, "Mama, you gotta be strong." What hit me was when I laid on that table and they walked you out and you walked out and you looked at me and I said, "Go with our son. Because if something was to happen to him, let's just say, God forbid, he didn't make it, I would rather hear it from you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we could work through this together. Even though, of course, the doctors are gonna come and still tell us. But
And for anybody who has lost a child, our deepest
our
condolences. That
deepest condolences. That
the
is
the scare alone was enough to be heart wrenching. I could not imagine the amount
yeah.
of pain that y'all went through. So we really, our feelings are really with y'all.
Like I cry every time I see those videos.
Yeah,
It's heart wrenching. But
heart wrenching. Oh, that video that we saw on TikTok today, that guy throwing the 2-year-old onto the floor in the airport. Oh, sorry.
we're not talking about that.
Nope,
We're gonna
that's a
get into
different
social
subject.
media in another
That's a different
episode.
subject for a different day.
But
That made me so
no,
mad.
the 80 milliliters is what I heard. And then I legit, when I saw you leave and I heard the doctor say, "We're losing her. Get her blood here, stat."
I was still in the room for that.
And no, this is when you walked out because he said it again. And I was like, he kept saying, he's like, "We're losing her, we're losing her, we're losing her." And the anesthesiologist, I remember she was a young lady, and she just held my hand, and she looked. Oh, I'm getting emotional. And she looked at me, and I closed my eyes because I was like, "This is it." Like at that moment, I gave into it. I was like, "All right, whatever." Ooh, sorry. I was like, "I'm just gonna watch over my husband and my kids. Like it's whatever." And like I saw my all of my pregnancies, from my oldest one to my twins to this one, and it'll just start replaying in my head, and I saw everything from the birth to like their birthdays, and like for some forsaken reason, I saw the future. Like I saw my kids in the future, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't give up. Cause like at that moment, I was like, God, if it's my time to go, take me. Like I'm all right. Save my son, because I remember he wasn't really crying. So it's like, save my son, save my son. And I was like, make sure my husband and my kids are okay. And that was the last thing I remember saying. And then I like blacked out. Of course, you do the typical, you see all white, but it was like a flash. Like it was literally like a flash. Like somebody just took a camera, flashed it in your eyes, and I saw my all my birth, and I saw like everything from when we
Oh, so
had
you started getting like the life story
yes,
flashback thing. So
I
that's a
had
real
from
thing.
the flashbacks to from all of our relationship. You know what I mean? I saw everything, and then I went into the future, and I saw the boys when they got older, and I saw, you know what I mean? And then I started crying, and I said, I cannot go. I said, God, I know I told you to take me, but I can't leave my boys. I can't leave my husband. I can't. I kept saying that. I kept saying, and I was like, Cora, come back. I was like, come back, come back, come back. And then at that last moment, I said it like 4 times. And at that fourth time, it's like legit. I remember opening my eyes, and he said, she's not bleeding anymore. She's not bleeding anymore. We're good. We're good. And I kind of looked at that anesthesiologist, and she was, the fear on her face, you could tell it was real. Like you could tell it was real. So then after that, I guess it's like when you're in a room. And then after that, when you came, I mean, when you were in a room, they sewed me up and stuff like that. And I remember having some young surgical techs there, and they looked at me and they was like, "Oh my God, girl." And I was like, I just looked at them and I just started smiling. I was like, and my nurse was there too, and she was all like, whew, like you could tell death was like in the room, and somehow I fought through it. And so when we got back to the room, that's when I was laughing with my nurse, and I was just talking with her, and she was like, "You did so good." That's what she kept saying. She's like, "I'm so proud of you. You did so good. You did so good." Because it's like at that moment, she saw this young mother die. Because I was talking to the nurse the entire time before you got to the hospital, because you're dealing with the other boys. I
Yeah,
was telling her,
waiting on your dad to get over here so he could
yeah,
make it up
and
to
I
the
was telling
hospital.
her everything. I was telling her, I was like, "Yeah, I'm married," and I was showing her the pictures of the boys and you. And so she was like, "Oh my God, this is your fourth." I was like, "Yeah, it's my fourth." And so we're thinking like, okay, well, we're gonna try again for a girl after that. But no, man, I was like, after that,
God had other plans.
huh? You do not question that man's plan. After that, I think that was it. And I think the second birthing trauma I had was when I had to go into surgery in April to get my hysterectomy, because I was just like, bruh.
Yeah. Those before and after photos were crazy, by the way.
They were crazy, bro.
Talk about trauma. That was some healed trauma right there
That
that
was
I
some
saw.
and like that's what really woke up the trauma of how much I had, because after the hysterectomy, I remember crying, and I'm like, I just wanted a girl.
Yeah.
But I remember saying, like, looking at those photos, I was like, your body
You
couldn't
could
handle
not
it.
you could not have handled it again. And I'm
Yeah,
so
like
glad that we
my
made the decision, because I was gonna go. I didn't want you to go underneath the knife again.
mhm.
So I was gonna go be the one to go get the vasectomy, even though I mean for men it's not as effective like as a woman's hysterectomy is,
Yeah.
or getting your tubes tied for that matter. It's not as effective, but it's still effective.
Mhm.
So I was gonna go get that done, and then when you went and got the scan done and everything, and they're like, no, due to the scar tissue and the leftover this, that, and the other, and the
It
way
was
that they
like
did it, and
one thing after
they were like,
another.
it would be better for you just to go ahead
Yeah.
and get it, and just say you're done. But I would say that the biggest issue with that in that case, and I guess this still plays into birthing trauma, was after your hysterectomy, you felt like less of a woman
Yeah.
because you no longer had your
But I mean,
uterus.
it does play into birthing trauma because I gotta like think about all the women that go through birthing trauma and get stuff, there's like uterus or stuff removed right there
Yeah.
without them knowing,
Yeah, they
'cause
don't
it's
have a
something.
decision in it.
Yeah.
But in the essence of, and I understand to the extent that a doctor has to make a decision on the fly to save this person's life or not, they have
Yeah.
to make a decision. Still would be
You
nice to
still want to be
know,
known.
hey, pull
Yeah.
down that little sheet real quick and be like, hey, for this, that, and the other, we got to take it
Yeah.
out. We're taking it out.
Because I mean,
You don't get to
well,
say so.
you also got to think about it though. Not every C-section is the same.
Correct.
So there are some that are awoke, like me. But then there's also some that they do have to fully put the mother under like
Right.
full blown anesthesia, and then
Depends on how many pregnancies and stuff. Yeah.
no, it's not.
It was
even
still crazy though. Our anesthesiologist took my phone and stood up and was
Did the
videoing
video? Yes,
the
we gotta
inside of
find
me.
that video.
Yeah,
That was
I have it
so
somewhere.
cool.
I've seen your inside. Like
Yeah,
I,
that was cool.
I love you inside now because I've seen them both.
Literally. But no, there is some women that do have that. So I believe birthing trauma though is something that a lot of Black women do need to talk about more. I feel like our community needs to be more open to that. Because we do have a lot of older generations that are like, oh, well, you decided to have a baby. You knew this was going to happen, and it's just like, it's very discouraging.
I have people all the time that tell me that I need to buy a TV. I was like, the TV worked just fine. That was the problem.
But it's just like, I do feel like, though, for birthing trauma, a lot of women out there do need to talk about it. I feel like a lot of women out there do need to be more comfortable with sharing their stories, sharing how they fought through those stories, because like my wake up call was, like I said, seeing my children, the flashbacks of our marriage and our relationship and our children. Seeing that woke me up and was all like, you gotta go. Now, I'm not gonna say that healed all of my birthing trauma. Nah, it's not. I mean, that birthing trauma is something that's gonna forever stick with you.
We're still working on that.
Yeah, and you will forever work on that though, because that's something that is hard to get through, because it's not just a physical, it's like emotional.
Right. There's
Like,
stuff below the
it's
surface that I'm not gonna know unless you tell me outright.
yeah. But then even if I talk to you about it, you won't truly understand because it's coming from a man's point of view. I
Right.
mean, you will try your hardest, and I know there's a lot of men out there that will try their hardest to
I really
understand that.
try. I really try.
Yeah, but like, there's moments where I still break down and cry. I'm like, oh my God, I had a hysterectomy at like this age, like 25. I would never be able to have kids again. And everybody's all like, but you could have died.
But you also have to look at it between the ages of 21 and
Yeah.
24. You had 4 children.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I mean,
like,
that's another thing that helps my trauma. I look
Right.
at my kids like, yes, they get on my nerves, but I sit back sometimes and I look at them and I'm all like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them 4 little kids running around my house, terrorizing it, putting holes in it. Anybody knows how to
she
fix
probably would've
holes?
left me a long time ago.
But yeah, I would have been gone in the streets.
Gone in the streets.
In the
Second she turned
streets.
21.
I would have been in them streets. No, but it's like birthing trauma though, like on a serious note, birthing trauma does need to be talked about more in every community. I do feel like the white community has it a little bit better because I feel like the doctors do listen to them just a little bit better, just from seeing certain things,
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say they fully have it better
Well,
because
TikTok has shown me, and I mean, as much as you can trust any social media platform, TikTok has really showed me the difference in like
yeah,
white versus Hispanic versus Black women versus
Yeah.
Asian birthing in hospitals and their treatment thereof.
Yeah.
So like when you say that, I don't think anything negative because I've seen it in some
Mhm.
capacity with my own eyes.
It's
and
becoming
that's-
more and more popular
right.
now.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing about our generation is that, and I mean, I'm in my 30s. My wifey is in her late 20s. Just right at the beginning of her late 20s.
26.
So we're at the generation that's on the up and up who's going to be coming in to make all the big changes and everything.
Mhm.
But we're seeing what's going wrong between white America, Black America.
Yeah.
We realize the
mean-
racial differences and want to change that though.
It's not even just so much of that. It's more so of you just see the difference in a hospital from the doctor.
Right.
Like, I physically saw the
Thank
difference
God for
from
Huh.
actually from all my doctors.
Yeah.
I do like my last doctor, the doctor with my twins, she was a lady. Um,
I thought the twins was Dr. P. No, you
he
did have
yeah,
a
yeah.
lady doctor.
Yep. So my oldest one was a lady doctor. The twins,
'Cause
I also had a lady
it was the
doctor.
same lady doctor.
Yes, but I
But she
also
wasn't there the night you were going through your issues.
no.
Mom was, who was also with Dr.
Yep, my
P.
mom was next
She's the one
door.
that brought Dr. P over, and he's
Mhm.
like, "No, I'm her specialist doctor.
Yep.
These babies are coming out now.
Yep.
Like, you're going to fix this problem now."
And they scheduled me
Just
the next day.
to put it in retrospect for you guys, the
Well, most women
lady
know.
doctor was a white lady, super sweet, love her still.
Yeah.
And then her doctor that made the call on the twins was a older black gentleman,
Yeah.
older black doctor.
And he knew. He just knew though. Like he saw me.
He felt it in the room. He felt it in the energy of the room. Hallelujah.
Calm
Sorry.
down, sir. Don't do my Dr. AP. He knew because he kept seeing me at the end of it.
Right.
Going like honestly, he looked at me, he said, "Oh, because I went to the doctor on my birthday." And he said, "You might be having these babies today." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Nah, I can't do that. It's my birthday." I was like, "I don't want to share my birthday with my kids. Nah, I can't do that. It's my birthday." He said, "I don't know." But he kept telling me. And so the week after that, I went, he said, and then when I end up going to the hospital, remember you ended up rushing me to the hospital. And I called my mom and I told her, I said, "Tell Dr. JP I'm next door from y'all. Walk the Sky Bridge. I'm over here." And I was crying.
Yeah.
And I said, and she said, "Okay. And they hurry up and shut the clinic down. And they came over there and they said, "What do y'all can't stop this labor. She's in active labor." Like, and that was dangerous for me because I already had a cesarean, C-section. But I do believe, though, besides all that, birthing trauma does need to be talked about more in the community. It needs to be talked about more in women in general. I do feel like birthing trauma is something that is a big deal. It's a huge deal. But I do feel as if a lot of my generation or younger women, even, women, if they have kids younger than me, I feel like they won't talk about it because I feel like the older generation won't listen. But I'm here to say, like, if they won't listen, put it out there on social media. Somebody's gonna listen to your story. Somebody's gonna
what we're doing. We're talking about these
somebody's
uncomfortable topics.
this thoughtful topics. You're gonna get all the uncomfortable topics.
And
Like,
by the
somebody's
way,
gonna
if you, male or female, have experienced birthing trauma and don't know where to talk about it or don't know who to talk about it with, please feel free to reach out to us through our social medias or comment on it down below, and we'll do our very best to get a hold of you in some capacity and let you have just your discussion.
even if it's just a comment back, if
Right.
it's a something, I want to raise a community where they can go and be like, "I'm having this," and you have somebody to lean on.
And if this goes well enough, the podcast starts taking off. I was actually debating creating a Discord for us anyways and creating multi channels in it, but we'll discuss that later.
Oh yeah.
But we want to create a community where this is your safe space to discuss the
uncomfortable
topics that nobody ever wants to talk about.
Like I said, like, especially right now, since we're on episode 1, talk about that birthing trauma. Talk about your stories. I mean, even if you drop it in a comment, somebody's gonna read that comment. Even though people say, "I don't read YouTube comments," yes, I do. Somebody's gonna read that comment, and somebody's gonna be like, "I can relate to that." And somebody can be like, "I can." If they got through it, I can get through it. Because I mean, like me, I went through something traumatic. And if I got through it, if people look at me and I was like, "I can't believe you have 4 kids," or "I can't believe you almost died giving birth to your last one," I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff y'all don't know about me. But if I can get through it and I can tell you, hey, if I got through it, you can get through it. I'd rather be somebody's support system than to put them down and be like, "Oh, well, you're out there having kids. You know what you were doing. Oh, well, you out there spreading your leg." You know how the old people be talking, and I'm like,
What you telling me? Your TV wasn't working?
yeah, your TV not working. Oh, y'all should get off of each other more. It's like, girl, we a young couple. We moved in
We in
together,
love.
like
Mid COVID, like
what? COVID had us everybody in the nose. Okay, Everybody was inside during COVID.
Remember Trojan?
COVID
Trojan
was
knew what they was doing with them COVID commercials. They had me
man.
dying laughing during COVID.
Every like what every couple like YouTube had it, Netflix had. I mean, it was so many
It was
Trojan
so bad.
commercials. I was like, bro, it's too late now. I'm over here already 4 months pregnant,
Did I do that?
and then I don't know. It just COVID was just the year where everybody was getting pregnant. I was like, oh my dear Lord. But I do feel like though birthing trauma is something that people should talk about. I feel like birthing trauma is something that a lot of women should be comfortable with talking about. I feel like men should talk about it.
Right. It's a weird topic for us to discuss because in retrospect of our trauma versus y'all's trauma is significantly more
Oh, yeah.
significant. Like,
But
for
I
lack
don't
of
want
better
to
words.
be someone to downplay like, oh, birthing trauma happens more with women. No,
Right.
no,
Like
no. I'm like,
men suffer from
yeah.
postpartum and they don't
Oh,
know that.
yeah.
Like the amount of stuff that I had to go through and not only dealing with you, but dealing with the kids
Mhm.
and then dealing with being a new father
Yep,
and
especially after the C-sections. Because
like
after every C-section, I couldn't do as much as I could because I couldn't lift nothing. I couldn't do much. So you have to take on dealing with the child. You know what I mean?
one episode I would like to eventually do on here would be like dad guilt. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a hard topic that I have to deal with and just like trauma like what is it? Labor trauma. Jeez, whatever
Birthing trauma?
birthing trauma. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodness. Like birthing trauma is a big deal to you because of
Yeah.
how much weight it actually put on you. Dad guilt is a real thing. It does not
Oh,
get talked
yeah.
about
It's definitely a
in the
real
male
thing.
community because we're men, we want lightsabers, we want to go to war and
I want a lightsaber and go to war. But no, I do feel like men out there do experience it though. I mean,
Yeah.
whether that be, I mean, I saw. Did you see the video? On TikTok, it was a man, a young dad. I'm not gonna say a man, a young dad, maybe a little like in his 30s or something now. Him and I guess it was his girlfriend at the time went in to give birth to their child. He stepped out or something. I think he like went to the restroom or went to the cafeteria or something. I'm probably getting a story wrong. Somebody correct me in the comments. But he wasn't in the room and he came back and she was gone and it was just the baby. And he thought she went to the restroom and they said no. The mom left. The girlfriend left. Yeah. So basically, if y'all haven't seen it,
Sorry, I gave her a look like, what the heck? No, I haven't heard that.
So basically, this young couple goes into the hospital. They have a baby, and the baby was healthy and everything.
Good.
Something happened or another. Basically, the dad comes into the room. I think he like went home to change something. It was something very simple. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. But basically turns around, or I think she says, "I'm leaving," and he's like, "Where you going?" And she left the hospital, checked herself out of the hospital after, they made sure she was okay to leave, and left him with the baby. And I was like, "What?"
So was the baby just left alone in the hospital room until dad got up there?
No, I think
Okay.
I think he was in the room or something, or you know what I mean, or I think he was in the room, and then she said, "I'm leaving," and he was like, "Well, where you going?" She's like, "I'm done. I can't do this," or something like that,
You
and
just
left.
had the baby. You ain't even been to the hard part yet.
Like she left him with the baby, and he had to learn, and it was a baby girl, and he had to learn how to raise her. And as a man, I know that's hard to try to raise girls.
Shout out to the single dads and the stepdads that had to step up.
What? Shout out to all
Right.
them dads. Shout out to the mamas too.
Facts. I was just giving the dads some kind of recognition.
Yeah, shout out to the dads that had to step up, especially in a situation like that. Shout out to the mamas that had to step up too, because a lot of these
The mothers that get to celebrate both Mother's and Father's Day.
all the single women. For the dads, you get to celebrate Father's Day and Mother's Day. Like, let's not forget them.
Men don't like what's the word I'm looking acknowledge their feminine energy, so they don't celebrate.
Oh, BS. That's another episode we're gonna get on. They're gonna acknowledge it in this podcast. No, sir. But yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up, y'all. I do feel though that birthing trauma is something that's real. I mean, you kind of heard my story. If you want to hear my story, drop it down below. I will gladly tell you my story. But birthing trauma is real. Birthing trauma is something that needs to be talked about. It's something that needs to be shared. It's something that needs to be more aware of, because if not, then a lot of people won't understand it. And especially my African Americans, my Hispanics, my Indians, my Native American, all of our culture, or not culture, I'm gonna say all of us in a little bubble. I don't know how to put that in words. Um, if we don't talk about it, if we don't stand up for it, we will be looked at as, oh, they're just complaining, they're just complaining, they're just complaining. And we already know that we've been put in a bad spotlight since the beginning. Now, I'm not saying, hey, if you're white, don't talk about it, but help advocate for your friend, of color. Help advocate for your neighbor that's of color. Help advocate for somebody. If you're a nurse, help advocate for somebody in the laboring room of color. Be that voice, because the doctors do not listen to us people of color.
Right.
And birthing trauma is real. If you know that they're going through birthing trauma and you see it, because there's signs, there are signs. But if you see it, just be that ear. They might not be able to talk. They might not know what to say. Be that person to be like, hey, I got you. Come talk to me. Because like I said, birthing trauma is real. It's scary. It's hard to come out of. But once you're out of it, you're out of it. But I just want everyone to know that no matter what, I got you. Drop them stories below. I'll be praying for y'all. I love y'all like family. And just
I don't
yeah.
stay off my page. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I'll be all up in your business. Drop your comment. I'm gonna be all up in the who's this commenting on my page?
In there like swimwear, baby. In there like
All in
swimwear.
there. I better see your face. I need a name, phone number. No, I'm just kidding. I don't need all that. But yeah, birthing trauma is something that's serious, and I feel like us younger generation is gonna kick it in the face and be like, "Hey, yo, this is something that's real. Let's fix this." A lot of women and men are going through this. Let's fix this crap and let's
Get to the
be
bottom of it. Like let's make a community where we can heal and move on
yeah.
as a younger community, where the older communities have just kind of left us to flop.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
the old ways don't work no more.
I said what I said, how I said it, because I said it.
Okay,
I
period. Clock it.
her.
Clock it. Because the old ways ain't working no more, so we need
Nope.
something new. But anyways, guys, this is again Thoughtful Podcast with your girl Cora and the hubby Dustin.
Howdy, howdy.
And
I just made her so mad. Yeah.
oh God. Like I said again, we're gonna be talking about some uncomfortable topics. It's gonna be raw, it's gonna be real, it's gonna be us.
Maybe slightly edited, but whatever.
Nah, we just gonna edit with the music in and make it look all professional. But anyways, this was episode 1 of Thoughtful Podcast, Birthing Trauma. I love you guys. Talk about it, drop it in the comments, and we'll see y'all on episode 2.
Peace.